Today we're going to take a little look at how to add event listeners to things, which is another way to get an element in your page to respond to user input and to do something on some event. Before we used an attribute, so if I had let's move this around a little bit and get things nice and clean. If I had an element here, let's say I'm in my nav and I put a span. On click equals add element, let's call that. We'll have it say add, and just do a plus sign, span, okay? And if in my JavaScript I have a function add element, let's drop in a container here, that'll be nice. We'll close our nav, div id equals container. Okay, and then in here we're going to document.create element, div, we'll give this one a new div equals var, making all kinds of mistakes this morning. All right, new div dot class list dot add box, and then we'll do var container document dot get element by, find that shift key, container dot append child new div. Okay, so then if we run this, we've got our plus symbol here, we click it, and it doesn't like that I didn't capitalize the C. I'm having trouble finding that shift key a little bit. And I don't have any classes yet, so if I do hashtag container is going to have a background color of black and a min width of 700 pixels and a min height of 700 pixels, and then dot box is going to have a width of 200 pixels and height of 200 pixels and a background color of white and a margin of 10 pixels. That'll help to separate things out and we'll be able to see what we're doing. So I press plus and I get a box, and I press plus and I get another box. Okay, and I could make this all look a little bit fancier just by changing the overall background color on the body. Need a selector first. We'll just do blue. Not sure that'll look fancy so much as terrible. Not too bad. And I press plus. And I obviously have not styled up that button yet, but we can see that we're adding those things. So one of the things that, remove the code folding there, one of the reasons why we want to be able to add an event listener in code is so that on a new element like this div, we can have it do something that would be useful. So what do we want to do to it? Function set text, and then one of the questions is, how do I choose the right element if it's one that I've created programmatically? I don't know how many there are. I could give it an ID that's incremental and do some counting or whatnot, but I need to have that ability to access whichever thing that was clicked. So that's where event listeners become really powerful. And so what we do is this: we choose our element, new div dot add event listener. I'm going to do it on click, and then the name of the function you want to run, set text. Okay, And then what happens is this one is connected to this function on the click. Notice it's not on click, it's just click. And then this becomes, the keyword this becomes the whatever element fired this off. If it's done with an add event listener, there are ways to do it with an attribute, but this way is a little cleaner. This dot inner HTML equals this is this. And let's see if my programming is right on the first go. So I press plus, and I click, and this is this, and I click, and this is this. So that all lets us create elements, have them have event listeners, and put this in, and have, when you click on a particular thing, something changes about it. There are other things that I can do. I don't have to just do sorry about that. I don't have to just do, I don't know why it thinks that there we go. Now we're good. New div.add event listener. I believe that hover is one that we'll do. And I won't do set text. I'm going to do something else. Set color. Okay. And we'll do function set color. This dot style dot color. We'll do background color actually. Equals. We'll change it to red maybe, and we'll see if that works. We'll run it. I don't have anything, but I add something else. Nope, it didn't fire. So let's check alert test semicolon. Let's run it again. We add, nope, it's not firing. So how do we find out what these events are? We do JavaScript, add event listener, events. W3 Schools event listener. Click. Oh, mouse over is what it is on this one, or mouse out. So if I go back to my replit, mouse over, I don't think it highlighted everything. Run, plus, it ran test and changed the color. So you see that we've got all of those, and this is a really good resource to look at the various functions that you can have. You'll see that there are things that you can do on the actual window. If you resize it, you can do some things. And we'll talk about event bubbling and event capturing later probably, but this is worth kind of checking out for yourself. And that'll take care of adding event listeners. Let's go ahead and take a minute and talk about removing elements. So let's say that instead of click, I wanted to function remove me. So in order to remove an element, let's do it the long way first. I'm going to come here and I'm going to say span class equals button on click equals remove element. Okay, so if I run that, I now have this, and remove element doesn't do anything. So if I come in here and I create function remove element, and I need an element to mess around with, so I'm going to do it by ID first. So in here I'm going to put a div ID equals removable. This is removable. Okay. Doesn't have any class or anything. I run and it doesn't show up. So I need to do some styling on that so that it will. Hashtag removable. background color yellow, color's fine in black. Run. This is removable, okay? So what I want to do under normal circumstances is get the ID and remove the child, the ID of the container and remove the appropriate child. So I need both those things. So I could do it like this and say var container equals document.get element by ID container, and then command V, I'll do var remove is removable, and then we'll do container dot remove child removable. Run and minus, and it's gone. Okay, so we've got the container, we've got the element we want to remove, and from the container we remove child, the thing we want to remove. And that's a little bit of a mess, right? But we could also do this, because we don't always know what the parent is, we just know which thing we want to do, especially when we start moving things around. So we can also do it this way. Parent equals removable dot parent element. I don't remember exactly if I need that. And I'll do parent dot remove child. Run. And we see that it still works. So that helps us out. We've got this, whatever this is, this dot parent element dot remove child, this. So whatever I clicked on, its parent needs to remove the child, whatever I clicked on. Okay, and I did that on mouse over. Well, I haven't done it on mouse over, but I'm gonna. Maybe I'll change that to the click, because I don't really need to set text. So when I click on an element, it's going to delete it. I'll plus to add as many as I want, and I can delete some along the way. So the function there was remove me. So I run. I know that I can, oh, did I get rid of that? I don't know what I did there. So I add some, and when I hover I get that, and when I click it goes away. Plus, plus, plus. Okay. Oh, it was minus that removed that. Sorry, not the click. There we go. So if I do this one, it's a little weird because the moment it bounces up, it does that, changes the color. So there we go. We can now add event listeners in code. You can do that also in the window.onload. We can add, we can remove elements, and we can change elements based on what happens in that add event listener or what happens in that attribute that we messed around with up here. Add element, remove element. So those are ways to get our code setting itself where it needs to go. So if we create an element, we can give that element the events that we want without using attributes. So it's a little cleaner with that event listener. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.